Hi.
Hi. This is exciting.
I know, right? We're just gonna jump right into it. Welcome to my Lifer podcast. It's such an honor to have you on here. You don't know how much you mean to me. This is super exciting. By the way, everybody, this is Pinky, my best friend of over a decade. I hope I didn't just share too much about our age. So today I really want them to hear about a conversation that we had, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago about expectations and relationships. And this isn't just in like friendships, but like this can be applied to any relationship. So I would love for you to talk to them a little bit about it, because I think your points are just so important and they really, helped me out. So
I think if I remember correctly, we were talking about how, our feelings get hurt so easily because we expect someone to provide some type of solace or happiness or just anything in our lives. And when they don't, we get butthurt. And I've always told you, people, they will show you who they are and believe them. And that's one of the things I think I'm not sure if it was Maya Angelou that said it, but believe who they are and take that as it is. And at the same time, when you take them as they are, those high expectations that you have kind of should go away. Because, for example, like, if you constantly expect something from your mother or your sister, your brother, and they don't deliver, your feelings are going to get hurt all the time. Take them for how they are, accept that, and also build like healthy boundaries. Just because let's say, for example, like me and you, like our relationship, I'm not obnoxious. I am who I am. I tell it how it is, and you're more sensitive. And sometimes I'll say some stuff and you'll get upset at it, about it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not saying to be malicious. I'm not saying it to be unkind. I'm saying it because that's my personality. It's not the best thing that I do often, but you know how that is and you know where it's coming from. And of course, then you have to give me those boundaries. Like you'll always say, hey, Sonia, you're being a little too much, or, that hurt my feelings, because those are healthy boundaries. And I'll also like that, double down on it.
Right.
Because now I am considering you. So that's what I was telling you. Like, you can't have these high expectations or idolize people, because it just gets you into this trouble of always wanting more or needing, and then that's all they can provide you. So why would you put yourself through that, like, I don't know, like that pain?
No, I completely agree with you. And I think it's something that, I can say that I struggle with, but I also think a lot of people are struggling with it. And it's like, also I've noticed that sometimes you're so worried about, like me personally, I'm so worried about how I want that person to be. I have all these expectations on them, but then I don't think about, okay, well, how are they feeling when I put that on them? They're probably thinking, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or I'm not treating her how she wants to be treated. And then essentially they're not being able to meet my expectations, and that's making it harder on them in the general sense.
Yeah, and that's going to like create a conflict, because you want this, they can provide it, so you guys are going back and forth. So that's why I always say that once you come to that point with somebody, that's when you have to let them go, because they're not for you. They're not for you, and that's simple as that. Like you usually have people in your circle who you take them as they are, the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So like if you start idolizing people and putting these pressures on them, like for example, like one of the things that this psychologist or therapist, I don't know, told me once was about people who suffer with alcoholism, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I have a family member who suffered from alcoholism, and I wanted this person to be something and to provide something than what they already were providing to me. Like, I wanted them to get better. I wanted them to love me more. I wanted them to pay attention to me more. And they're like, well, no. They are dealing with something, and whatever they can provide you is what they have left in their jar or in their glass.
Right.
Like if this person is suffering from alcoholism and they can only give you, you know, so much more attention because they're struggling with this disease, either you're going to accept them like that and build boundaries and allow them in your life, or you're going to let them go because you're going to cause them pain and anxiety, and then you're going to cause yourself pain and anxiety. So I either let you go, let you figure out your way, or stay by you and say, listen, I'm going to accept you, but these are by my terms, so I don't get hurt and I don't hurt you, or by our terms. So kind of like, you know, finding a middle ground, a healthy middle ground.
Yeah, middle ground. That's really a good word for that. And by the way, you guys, this is why I love her, because she's a genius. She's so smart.
Not really.
She's just amazing. Like, if I didn't have her, I don't know what I would do. So you guys are just getting a little taste of how great she is, by the way. But
Ditto, love you.
And I love this topic so much, and I'm just so glad that we're talking about it, because it also ties into the last 3 segments I had. The first one being on like intentions, the second one being on like loving yourself and the foundation of loving yourself, and then the last one that I had uploaded last week about negative narratives and how to get rid of those, because this podcast is about loving yourself. Like, that's the first part of the acronym. And I feel like setting boundaries and not having expectations on the people that you have relationships with, whether that be family relationships, intimate relationships, friendships, you know, that's part of loving yourself.
Yeah. And when you know, I want to maybe insert like a little correction under when, how would I say? I want to insert like a little correction, because you can have expectations, but they have to be realistic.
Right.
Like you know, if you're dating someone and you know, like, this person is like constantly trying to, you know, push for their dreams, and they can't hold a full-time job because they just want to, like, you know, do poetry and it's not bringing, well, you knew that this was what they were about. Why are you acting surprised because they ain't bringing no bread? Like, either you're gonna you know, continue to support them and help them and push them, or you're gonna move on.
Well, yeah, no,
and it doesn't mean that the person is a bad person, or the person is a mean person, or you're a mean person. It's just that, listen, I'm not gonna push you if you don't want to be pushed. Like, it's just, that's where conflict comes from. Like, I'll let you go out, deuces, bye Felicia.
And I'm the one crying, holding on to a thread, like, don't go.
Oh, hell no. There's
no
right, yeah, but like, think about it. Like, if you don't want to be in my life, or you're not bringing something into my life that is happiness and love, like, why am I gonna push for it? Why am I gonna sit here and try to change you? You are the beautiful person that you are. You're just not my beautiful person. And that's why I feel like in any relationship, like I said, friendships or family or partnerships of any kind, like, once that's gone, and that sense of me wanting to be with you and vice versa, once that's gone, there's no number of push and pull that's gonna bring it back. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, and
like, so, if you don't want to be in the ring with me, I just got to be like, yo, deuces out, ding, ding, ding.
Well,
round 3.
And that's why I love being able to talk with you about it, because everyone who's listening to this, we all handle this in a different way. And you're right about saying, like, you should have expectations. This is not about not having expectations, but I feel like it's more about understanding that you have to accept the person for who they are. And
or move on.
Yeah, and if you can't do that, then move on. And that's essentially the reality of the situations. But also, it's how to deal with these type of expectations. Like, let's say you do have a dynamic and it works really well, but you're trying to stop yourself from, like, I don't want to say messing it up, but you want to be a little bit more open-minded in the relationship and say, okay, I've noticed that I'm starting to place my expectations on this person and not accepting them for who they are, but you still want to try to work it out. And then for me, I feel like that's where what I call the 3 C's, and then there's like a 4th C. It's communication, super, super important. Commitment, also super, super important. And then compromise. And then at the very end, I like to throw in this C, but it's not necessarily, an option for some people. But I do believe that counseling can work. So
amen to that. Last word, because listen, as Hispanic people, like in our culture, like going out for counseling or talking to someone outside you, like your familia, like that is a big no. Ay, ¿pa qué yo necesito eso? Why do I need that? Like, you know, if I have a problem, we keep it in the family. And recently, my spouse and I, we're great, but I was going through an issue within myself, and that in essence was really not messing up, but it was impacting our relationship because I wasn't well. Right? So finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to counseling. Whatever. F it. I'm going to go. There's something that's bothering me. I don't know how to pinpoint, and I'm just being a snippy little bitch all the time for no reason. So I finally did it because, we have communication, we have compromise, we have all those three things that you had mentioned, but that, that fourth one was a need. That was a tool. And I was like, okay, I need to bring this tool in because I'm not getting my feelings across correctly and in a healthy manner. And let me tell you the best thing that I did. Me and my therapist, she's my BFF right now.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Right now. Wait.
We need to have a communication about this.
She is my BFF therapist, BFFT. She is amazing, but it is like because you are my best friend. Like I can tell you anything and everything, but because you love me, sometimes a lot of our and that goes for me too. A lot of the things that we say to each other sometimes can come out as biased or like lovingly or like without like looking at the pictures outside of our own life, right?
Yeah, like Pinky's Choice.
Shut up. So yeah, like this therapist has made me like really dive into myself and again loving myself again, so that I can be in this relationship again and be present. And let me tell you, if anybody is out there dealing with like inner like demons or just like they're not stable, please go to therapy. Like I'm so about it. Before I wasn't. I was like, I'm a G, yo. I'm from the streets. I got this. I don't need no help. Boom, whatever. I just curse a bitch out and keep it moving. Bye. No, that's not how we do. You really do need those tools and the resources.
Yeah, and the reality of the situation as well is your expectations, a lot of that psyche could have something to do with what you were presented with when you were growing up. Like just as an example, and not to get like super deep, this is just a plain example. By the way, FYI guys, I don't know if I've mentioned this in the last podcasts. I think I did in one. But these podcasts that we do on the Lifer podcast is not scripted. We literally just talk like we normally would talk on the phone. So just one
raw baby.
it's all natural over here. I don't even know if that's the right word. But back to the example. Let's say like a young lady is grown up with an abusive male figure, a brother or a dad, an uncle, whatnot. Then that's what she grew up in seeing, and so psychologically she may end up finding herself in relationships with men who might be a little bit over dominant or abusive, and to her that's her expectation because that's the only thing she knew.
That's what she accepts, and that's what she expects.
And it's like with something like that, how do you create a boundary, a safe boundary? That's where the counseling might come in, and you might actually have to kind of forfeit the communication, the commitment, and the compromise, because if you don't even know what that's about and you're used to only one way of life, the counseling will help you find that root issue and bring it up so that you can work on it.
Amen. 110%. Shout out to my therapist.
Yeah, BFF.
BFFT. Let's get it correct. Best friend, forever therapist. Because this might be a forever relationship. Because I got issues.
Yeah, I didn't expect that from you. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, and it goes back to expectations too, because growing up, you were expected as a Latina woman to, be on it. You are the strong, independent, I can fix it, everything young woman. I don't need no help. I got this, But no, it's okay to say I'm not okay. And that's something that took me 30 years to my age, realize. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to say I'm not strong. It's okay. Life doesn't expect you, and again, that word doesn't expect you to be perfect. It always to be on. It likes the insecurities, the rawness, the failures, the successes. All that makes a beautiful human being, and that's why I said, accept who you are, love yourself. And that's why I love this podcast, because it surrounds all that. It's about acceptance.
Absolutely. And I appreciate you acknowledging that. And one thing, and you don't have to be like religious or spiritual, whatever, to listen to this podcast, but me personally, I'm very spiritual. So one of my practices, in order to accept myself and find, and I'm definitely not perfect, find a way to accept others for who they are without trying to change them, is I think to myself, well, I'm not perfect, but God loves me, and God, he accepts me. So if God, this powerful creator of everything, loves me and accepts me, then why can't I do myself and others the same courtesy?
That's it. So. Just let me live. I'll let you live. Let me live. That's all it is. It's about respect. That's all.
So if we wanted to like wrap up the main points in this conversation, what do you think the listeners should get most out of what we talked about briefly?
Accept yourself, love yourself, and set healthy boundaries. That's all it is. Because acceptance, with acceptance of yourself, will allow you to accept people as well.
Very true.
Because if you love yourself, you're gonna love the fact that you maybe are a great listener, but you are not the best cook or the best communicator, I guess, or the best at everything is not what's the goal. The goal is to accept you with your faults. And I think that's what you should get out of this. Like you said, we're not perfect. I often see myself like I need to strive to do better. And the word strive. That's it.
That's excellent. And of course, also, I personally love acronyms. That's why I have LIFER, and I love things that can remind me of a cluster of things. So the 4 or 3 C's, whichever you want to remember it: commitment, communication, compromise, and counseling. Those are really good necessities, and as Pinky said, a tool that you can use to help you along the way in any relationship that you are in.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
So I would love to end this this podcast with the egg story.
Oh my God, are you still on that?
I am. Okay, because I had an expectation of this.
This happened like 5,000 years ago. I'm gonna let you let it go.
Now we need to communicate on this and come to a compromise. Okay.
That's how it is. It looks like we might need some counseling because this happened like back in '97. Let's go. All right, so the story goes, okay, this is my version because she sees it. This is my perspective of the story, which is the truth. So my cousins were like looking up some YouTube videos on like hacking. It's like when DIY just started, like just launched, like people doing things yourself, very like new age ways of doing things. So they were like, yo, take up an egg, put it between two, like put it in a pantyhose and just like roll the pantyhose and just let it like unwind, but very fast. Do that over like 200 times, and then when you open the egg, it's gonna be like a scrambled egg. So I'm like, yo, word, boom, we're about to do this. So I'm telling her, because I'm hyped, like I can't wait to do this. I never tried it, but I'm telling her, and Miss you hands on, I'm gonna try this. She goes and buys like 12, carton, 12 eggs, right? And she's doing the rolling. She did all of them. Every single egg, she's rolling. She, she boils them, and then she's popping them, waiting for that one freaking egg to be scrambled. She ate 12 eggs, and not one egg was scrambled. She called me, I have the worst stomachache. I'm like, why? She's like, because your stupid ass idea about scrambling eggs using the pantyhose method didn't work. And I was like, maybe one of these eggs, actually scrambled. No, they never did. She looked horrible.
Exagerado.
Yeah, you were hurting. I was like, what happened?
The deceit, the betrayal, okay? She's my best friend. I expected her to be truthful with me.
No, I'm sorry. You should have called me. Now, I'm not taking that risk, because you should have called me to let me see you roll it in a pantyhose, because that was a sight to see. I could just see you in the kitchen like, oh, this is great DIY, because I'm hands-on. I don't need to like mess up no kitchen utensils, no bowl needed. Boom. Pantyhose. No,
I'm creative, okay? It didn't work. These things, and I trust you, and I'm like, okay, what she says is true. And I was sick. I didn't eat eggs for years after that. Just the smell and the look of an egg, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah. And then you said that the last one, you're like, this was it. This is it. I'm like, yeah, you're on the 12th egg. You're not gonna see, you expect too much. I would have been done egg number 1. I'm like, this is definitely not working. Bye.
Boundaries come in. Pero yo no sabía.
You said, I'm committed. I don't give up. But I'm like, juices, I didn't even try it. I was like, I'll just get my bowl and my Webby, old school traditional.
Bueno, mi gente, okay?
I love it.
If you adore this amazing woman as much as I, you are in luck, because soon she is going to have a podcast of her very own, which we will keep you informed on as soon as it starts up. I personally call it Pinky's Choice, but she has something else in mind. But as far as these listeners on my podcast are concerned, her podcast will be called Pinky's Choice.
Pinky's Choice. Yes, my wife and I, we are going to launch a podcast in the next few weeks. We're still working on it, so we're still trying to, tweak some things, because I'm new to this. Betty is very seasoned, and so she's great at it. So she's been giving me a lot of pointers. So we're really excited to give you a little sneak peek. It's going to be based around movies, because I am a movie buff, and I will sit on my couch all day, every day, watching movies, because that's what I do. So yeah, that's just a little sneak peek at what our topics are going to be, or topic. But yeah, stay tuned. I'm super excited, and hopefully Betty will invite me again so we can talk about anything and everything, because she's a lifer.
You are too. You're definitely a lifer. Pero vamos a terminar con movies really quick, because this woman says that I live in the 90s, because that's the only type of movies that I see.
And let me tell you, you know what? I'm happy that I'm launching this podcast, because the last movie she saw was probably Crocodile Dundee. Okay, I'm like, oh, did you see the Gamer? She's like, what's that? What you mean? Did you see? Like, no. The only modern movie that you've seen was Harry Potter, and Harry Potter was years ago.
Bomb AF. Anybody who's a Harry Potter fan, please comment on my Instagram. Also, anybody who loves like those movies back in the day from the FX channel and the USA, is it US or USA channel? Oh my USA. God, those were the best movies ever.
You still have cassette players. This is how bad this is, people. I'm gonna need just anybody call in and just give her a list of movies that are 2000 and up. And I'm saying 2000 because I think the last movie she saw was from 1999, and I'm not even joking.
Anyway, vintage is in, okay? Vintage will always be in.
Right. Stop it.
Well, I love you. Thank you very much for being on this podcast, and I will talk to you again very soon on here. Bye.
Love you too.